Hi, I'm glad to welcome you to my channel. I'm Viktoria from Ukraine. A few years ago, I found myself in a really dark place. My business had collapsed, my country was at war, and every day felt like survival mode. I was scared, exhausted, and honestly, I didn't see a way out. But then, something clicked. Not all at once. It started with a small shift in how I looked at what was happening around me. Today, I just want to share a method that helped me, in case it might help you too. So, what is this method? How does it work? And where is it used? Psychologists call it contrast perception. In human psychology, contrast perception is the way we interpret information based on what came right before it. For example, black looks even darker when placed next to white. Or try this. Put your hand in a bucket of cold water, then into warm water. The warm water will feel almost hot by contrast. So, how can we use this effect to make our problems feel less overwhelming? Before I tell you how contrast perception helped me during the war, I want to share a brilliant and funny example of this idea in action. I read this story in a book by Professor Robert Cialdini, The Psychology of Persuasion. It's a letter from a university student named Sharon to her parents. She got bad grades and, well, she got creative. Just listen. Dear Mom and Dad, since I left for college, I've been careless and haven't kept you informed about what's been happening. If you are sitting down, please stay seated while you read this. Recently, I suffered a skull fracture and a mild concussion after a fire broke out in our dorm. I fell from a window while trying to escape, but luckily, a firefighter saw me and called an ambulance. After I was released from the hospital, I had nowhere to live. So he kindly let me stay with him. He was so kind and nice that I fell in love with him. And soon we're going to marry. Sure, we have to hurry up, as my pregnancy is becoming visible. I believe you would be glad that I'm pregnant as soon as you are going to be a grandma and granddad. The reason we still have not been married is that my boyfriend caught an infection and infected me. So we are not able to make premarital blood tests till the infection has passed. I hope you'll welcome him into the family. He may not be highly educated, but he is hardworking and kind. Ooh, now, after reading all that, I want you to know there was no fire, no injury, no boyfriend, and I'm not pregnant. However, I'm getting low grades in history and chemistry. I hope you can handle that with perspective and forgiveness. Love, your daughter, Sharon. Now, I really hope I never get a letter like that from my daughter. But let's be honest, Sharon may not be great at chemistry, but she is a genius at psychology. She used contrast perception. After reading about injuries, pregnancy, and infections, her parents probably thought, oh, thank God, it's just bad grades. See how it works. It's funny, yes, but powerful too. She changed how they would react by changing what they compare the problem to. Actually, psychology is a powerful science. It can work wonders on our consciousness and provide answers to the most complex questions, solving problems that no other doctor can address. I've been interested in psychology and philosophy since I graduated from university. Looking for relevant answers, I read books by Milton Erickson, Alexander Lowen, Stephen R. Covey, and Robert Cialdini. From these psychiatrists, I learned how we as people can cope with difficulties, understand and build relationships with others, and create a happy and successful life. From the philosopher Marcus Aurelius, I learned how to accept problems, develop self-discipline, stay resilient, and how to keep being a good person no matter how hard or awful the circumstances we face. What I also learned is that sometimes our emotional state doesn't depend solely on our circumstances. It depends on how we perceive those circumstances. Now, let me share how I managed to treat depression by applying the principle of contrast perception during the darkest moment of my life. 3 years ago, in the first months of the war in Ukraine, I felt completely broken. I had become a refugee. I no longer felt safe. I was terrified of losing everything I loved, my home, my business, my friends. But something shifted when I thought about our soldiers who heroically stopped the enemy on the outskirts of Kyiv and saved my life during those first horrifying days of the war. Even now they are still fighting, protecting our homes and our people. Some of them are in captivity. They have been tortured and enduring unimaginable suffering. I ask myself, how can I let my fear destroy me when others are going through so much worse and still fighting and suffering? Suddenly, my pain didn't feel as heavy. I didn't feel crushed anymore. I felt gratitude for my people, our soldiers who are fighting to protect us and our country, our neighbors who shared food with us in the early days of the war, our friends who offered us temporary shelter, and the doctors who are working around the clock to save soldiers. That shift in perspective, comparing my suffering to something even greater, is what helped me start to heal. And it wasn't the first time I used this method. We use contrast perception in business, in our relationships, in the everyday choices we make, often without even realizing it. As an entrepreneur, I've sold high-end children's furniture for over 10 years. And guess what? Contrast perception works in sales too. In our stores, we always showcase the most premium desks and chairs right at the entrance, the sleekest, most advanced models with beautiful designs and high prices. When customers walk in, the first thing they see are these advanced, high-end desks. They're impressed, sometimes even a little shocked, especially when they hear the price. That's when we show them similar models that are less advanced and naturally more affordable. And that's the turning point. Suddenly, the customer feels relieved. They're glad to see there are more affordable options. The original price doesn't feel so shocking anymore, and now they are much more willing to buy. It's the same in life. When we are hit with hardship, we can look around at people who've survived more and realize we are not alone and we are not powerless. Being prepared for life challenges is something we all need to accept. Even in the most peaceful, prosperous countries, tragedy and loss will eventually come. But it's how we face them that defines us. And I believe you are stronger than you think. Today, all Ukrainians are vaccinated by war. What does that mean? We've been exposed to fear, suffering, and for many, grief and trauma. Some of us didn't survive emotionally, but most became resilient, wise, and deeply human. It's like going through clinical death and coming back. The world didn't change, but our perception did. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, maybe by job loss, financial stress, heartbreak, or that quiet, persistent heaviness, remember this. Millions of people around the world are suffering far more. What you have is actually a precious gift when seen in perspective. What I see now in my country, millions of Ukrainians lost homes, jobs, loved ones, and still found the strength to start again. I know Ukrainian dentists and cosmetologists who are now running clinics in Romania and the Czech Republic. I know restaurant owners who have opened new places in Spain and Turkey. I know real estate entrepreneurs who were forced to leave Ukraine and have found new beginnings. They've already opened offices and are working successfully in Istanbul, Dubai, and Bucharest. These are stories of courage, of rebuilding, of finding meaning in the chaos. And you can do the same. The key is to practice gratitude, shift your focus, and make meaningful, constructive action. Even small steps count. So if you are struggling today, please remember, you are not weak. You are human. And like millions of others, including me, you can find a way forward. Start by shifting your perspective. Learn from the strength of others and never underestimate your own power. Contrast perception isn't about ignoring your pain. It's about viewing it within a wider frame, so it doesn't take over your entire world. Even when life feels unbearable, finding meaning, practicing gratitude, and taking small acts of courage can begin to change everything. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and renowned psychiatrist, once wrote, "When we are no longer able to change situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that change begins with how we see. Your pain is real, but so is your strength. And when you shift your perspective even slightly, you give yourself a chance to move, to grow, to heal. Keep going, because the way forward is already inside you. You just have to look at it from the right angle." If this message helped you, please share it. Someone you know might need it today. Whether you like this video or not, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment. I truly appreciate your feedback. And if you subscribe, I'll be so happy to have you here. On this channel, I'll share simple, practical tools to boost your success and improve your life, without other complicating things. So stick around. There's a lot more to come. Thank you for listening.